All right, let's dive right in. We're going to explore some really profound ideas from Carl Jung today, all centered around one of the biggest questions you can ever ask yourself. Is the life you're living really yours?
Really think about that for a second. It's a pretty unsettling question, right? It's the kind of thing that can just stop you in your tracks and make you wonder, who's actually in the driver's seat of my life?
You know the feeling? How much of your day-to-day is you just playing a part? The good employee, the perfect friend, the responsible family member. We build these masks to fit in. But Jung's whole point was that our real life, the one that truly matters, only begins when we get brave enough to see what's behind that mask.
And that journey, it actually has a name. Jung called it individuation. Now, this isn't about becoming some brand new person. No, it's about becoming who you have always been underneath all those layers that society piled on. It's about bringing all the pieces of yourself, the good, the bad, the stuff you hide, back together to become whole.
So, where on earth do you start a journey like that? Well, it begins by getting to know the two major parts of you that are constantly at odds: the face you show everyone and the one you keep hidden in the dark.
First up, you've got the persona. This is your social mask, your public face. And look, it's not a bad thing. We need it to function, to get along at work, to fit in. But the danger, and this is a big one, is when we forget we're wearing a mask at all, when we start to believe it's our actual face. So what's hiding underneath that mask? That's where we find the shadow. The shadow is basically the bag we stuff everything we don't like about ourselves into. All our fears, our shame, our secret desires. But here's the crazy part, and this is so important. It's also where we hide our greatest strengths and our untapped potential.
And when you see it laid out like this, it just clicks, doesn't it? The persona is our conscious identity, what we choose to show. The shadow is the complete opposite, our hidden self, influencing us in ways we don't even realize. They're literally two sides of the same coin.
Because here's the deal. Just because you push something into the shadow doesn't make it vanish. It just operates from the shadows, and one of its favorite tricks is called projection. You ever met someone and just been instantly, intensely annoyed by them for some reason? Jung would say, more often than not, you're not seeing them. You're seeing your own shadow projected onto them because you can't admit you have that same quality. And this leads to one of the most powerful ideas in all of psychology. The goal is not to get rid of the shadow. You can't. The real path to becoming a whole person is to turn around, face it, and integrate its power and its lessons into your conscious life. That, right there, is where real growth happens.
Okay, but this journey inward goes even deeper, because once you start exploring your own mind, you find out it's connected to something way older, way more universal. You start to discover the archetypes.
Jung had this incredible theory about the collective unconscious. Think of it like a shared psychological inheritance, a kind of mental blueprint we're all born with. And inside that shared mind are the archetypes, these universal characters and themes that show up in every myth, every story, and every dream across all of human history.
And you already know these guys: the hero on a quest, the wise old mentor, the innocent child. These aren't just characters in movies. Jung believed they are real active forces inside of your psyche, right now, shaping how you think and what you want out of life.
So here's how it plays out in real life. You know that feeling when you want to start a new project or change your life? That's your inner hero archetype waking up. And that voice that immediately pops up saying, "You can't do that, you'll fail." Yep, that's your shadow. The epic myths of old, they're happening inside you every single day.
All right, now we get to the part of the journey that is probably the most difficult, but also the most freeing. It's about taking a hard look at the illusion of who you think you are.
What if? We hold on so tightly to our identity, our job title, our past, our personality, but what if all of that, what Jung called the ego, is just the very tip of the iceberg? What if who you really are is something so much bigger, so much more vast?
This chart says it all. The ego is that voice in your head, the one that's always chattering, worrying, and clinging to labels. But the true self, that's the whole show. The conscious, the unconscious, everything. It's not a fixed thing. It's this huge, interconnected field of limitless potential.
Now, let's be clear. The ego isn't evil. It's just trying to keep you safe. Its job is to build walls and keep you inside your comfort zone. But the problem is, real growth, the life of the true self, can only happen on the other side of those walls.
So, how do we actually do this? How do we get beyond the ego and start on this path to becoming whole?
Well, Jung's work doesn't just point out the problem, it gives us a map.
Here are 4 big ones. First, you've got to embrace the unknown. Growth feels uncertain because it is uncertain. Second, let go of your labels. You are so much more than your job title or your relationship status. Third, start listening to your unconscious mind. Your dreams, your gut feelings, that's the real you trying to talk to you. And finally, surrender. This is not a project with a deadline. It's a lifelong process of becoming. And when you really commit to this, you arrive at the most incredible realization of all. This whole idea of finding yourself is kind of wrong. You aren't lost. You're not creating some new person. You are simply remembering the vast, incredible, whole self that has been inside you this entire time, just waiting for you to notice.
So, the real question isn't about finding something you've lost. It's about having the courage to remember what's been there all along. The only question left is, are you ready to start remembering?